Lubetzky is the CEO and founder of Kind, which are these bars. They've got whole fruit and nuts. They're actually pretty good if you want to go to the grocery store and check them out, get a little bit of health into your life. Anyway, he wrote this book called Do the Kind Thing, where he went through his entire journey of starting the company of Kind. And it's a pretty big company. Check out these numbers here. And these are 3 things that he learned while he was starting this company. So let's jump into it. Daniel Lubetzky's lesson number 1 is yes and yes. Basically, Daniel says that there are a lot of options in life, but a lot of the times those options aren't really options, and you can actually get everything you want. So you can get yes and yes said. For instance, when he was starting Kind bars, he saw a lot of granola bars on the market that were sugary, and everyone in the market up to that point said that a good granola bar had to be sugary, had to be like very compact and all this stuff. But he wanted a fruit and nut bar that was whole and wholesome. So he used his own thing of yes and yes, and he realized that he could create a bar that not only was wholesome, but that there'd be a market for it and people would buy it. And this also went for his mission. So Kind Bar is very into being kind to each other and making everyone like very cohesive on the earth. And he realized that he didn't have to start a nonprofit for that mission to happen. He could have a very profitable company and make a difference in the world. Yes and yes. And you can use this in your own business, right? What are some things that are holding you back that you could just say yes to both of them? Daniel's rule number 2 is similar to that yes and yes philosophy. It's donate some profits to charity, even as a small company. Daniel's first company took products from the West Bank, so Israel and Palestine, and combined them together. And his mission was to fuse these two cultures together by having them work together. And what he realized is he was very heavy on the story and the branding. So all of his branding and all of his breakdowns of the product, they wouldn't really talk about the food itself. It was a sun-dried tomato spread. They wouldn't really talk about the spread itself. They would talk more about like how Israel and Palestine are coming together and they were shaking hands and it was all about peace in the Middle East. But what he realized is that you can't really focus on that mission if the product is shitty. So he flipped it on its head with Kind Bars. And with Kind Bars, all he does now is focus on the quality of the product and how good that these fruit and nut bars are. And yet he donates some profits to charity. And he's been doing that since the very beginning of Kind Bar, donating a certain percentage of profits. And he says that this is something that any company can do. For Experiment 27, I've been donating between $50 and $100 a month to Kiva, basically since I've been in college. And something that I want to implement in the next year is a profitable giving program through Experiment 27 itself, maybe giving 5 to 10% of our profits away to a charity like Kiva or similar. And then rule number 3 is keep it simple. Kind Bar sells, or they used to just sell one thing, which is fruit and nut bars. And what he realized, what Daniel realized when he wanted to expand the market, is there were a lot of options that he could pursue, right? He could go and do a granola bar, which is instead of whole fruit and nut, maybe it's ground fruit and nut, but the same ingredients. He could do even back to sun-dried tomato spread, other savory spreads, right? Because he's in the food market. But what he realized is there are some things that Kind represents and some things that they don't represent. And he only iterated around that one product. So if you look at Kind's current service offerings right now, current product offerings, you'll see almost all of them are still bars and all of them have whole fruit and nuts. Those are Daniel's 3 rules. Yes and yes, donate some profits to charity and keep it simple. If you found this video valuable, be sure to like it to encourage this type of content on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel for more B2B sales training. And if you need marketing support for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Thanks.